Sorry for the delay for time between videos. I haven't done a recent video in, well, it's been a week, a little over a week, I think. These are my blueberries you're looking at. Some pretty nice looking blue here. Pretty much I've been just ultra swamped with things this past week. My significant other had a tonsillectomy, and when you're an adult and you have a tonsillectomy, I guess it's a really big mess, and it's very painful, and it's a lot of sleepless nights, not a lot of fun. Definitely advise against doing it unless you absolutely have to, in my opinion. But she's on the mend, thankfully, and I finally have a few moments of peace, quiet, and a little bit of rest. So I've been picking strawberries when I have time. I picked probably about another half a pound over the past couple days. They're starting to regenerate. By regenerate, I mean getting flowers again to give us some more strawberries. So I'll show you that in a few moments. And of course, you could see the blueberries starting to turn blue. That's a good sign. This is one of my Super Sweet 100 tomato plants. And these puppies are pretty much their full size they're going to get. Look at that. Look at that cluster of tomatoes. That is a thing of beauty. I'm hoping these things start turning red soon. And we have some tomatoes by the 4th. I really can't wait. It's going to be nice to have some good, tasty tomatoes. Can't say I picked any yet, but hopefully it'll be soon enough. Got a lot of butterflies out. It's a good thing. The little bugs are avoiding me because I've sprayed myself pretty well with the bug spray. What I really want to show you where I've had some growth is behind me. So I'm going to pan out and then show you what we have behind me. These are the watermelons. And I have a couple of baby watermelons just starting to form on these. Don't know how well that stands out. It's basically right there. It might be too dark to see it, but it's teeny tiny watermelon, female fruit. So it should be pollinated and should be starting to grow. With any luck, this will be a good year for watermelons here. It's definitely been hot enough. The moisture is going to be my big concern. I pulled out the rest of my onions. I harvested my red onions as scallions. They were amazing. I've eaten a bunch. I gave a bunch away. I'm going to be covering this shortly. This whole thing. I'm going to cover it with more plastic. I want to basically set it up so we have no weeds there. And that's where I'm going to put beans in about another 2 weeks, I would say. And that's really all I could say about that. Once I get everything pretty much killed underneath there. The process I think is called occultation, which basically is you put a plastic cover, the warmth and the moisture forces the seeds on the surface to germinate. They germinate, and whatever's also living doesn't get sunlight, so it dies. The seeds germinate, they pop up, they don't get sunlight, they die as well. That's at least the plan. And we'll see how it works. And the strawberries, I've had the bird netting up now for about 2 weeks. I've already had a bird stuck in it yesterday. Had a little bit of fun getting him out. He was fine. We got him out. I put a box over him. I untangled from around his feet, and he flew right off. Surprised. He was a bit of a fighter at first, but then I think he realized I wasn't there to eat him. I was there to help him. Let me see. There's a couple of red strawberries I could zoom in on to show you. Actually, this plant here has both a flower and a red strawberry, so you can kind of see that I'm starting to get the flowers to come up. This heat wave we're in right now, where temperatures are in the upper 80s, it's probably going to mess up this whole cycle. Usually once you get to the upper 80s, the low 90s, pretty much most things stop setting flowers out. Beans will stop putting out flowers, peas will stop putting out flowers. Strawberries will usually also stop putting out flowers. It's just too hot for them. But this year has been a good year for strawberries, and I'm hoping to keep it that way. I'm really going to plan on working on something to do to the sides. I mean, I want to get it so I could somehow have an easy way to go up and down with them. The netting, because taking the netting up and down, I think, is my biggest problem, and I think that's what's letting it so the birds could get in. If I could staple it on the ends to maybe like a 1x1 or a 1x2 or something, like a 5-foot 1x2, put it down, just thinking out loud. But so far, no birds have eaten my berries yet, but they've gotten stuck in my netting. My other section of berries is a disaster. That was because I pulled up a pretty good amount of the plastic and the weeds just took right over. I'm going to go through there and just knock out as much as I can with the weeds and work from there. It's always going to be the tricky part. It seems like I'm always fighting weeds, and I'm getting sick of fighting weeds. So that's why I'm trying the black plastic thing. I also purchased a large tarp, so when I do finally begin expanding this garden, and even when I'm not and I just want to cover it in the fall, I'll be able to put that tarp down, and that should help with germinating all the weeds and then killing them, and then next spring giving me a much cleaner bed to work with, so I don't have to worry so much about the weeds. The main reason I have my picking basket is the peas. Let's get a little closer. Okay, the peas are looking amazing. Can't think of another word to use for them. I'm getting pods like these. Very nice looking pods, filling in pretty well. Here, we'll pick this one and open it up just to do a little preview of what we have inside of them. Let me line myself up with the camera so you could see what we got. This is like the nectar of the gods. As soon as I could open this puppy up. Oh, look at that. That is a good looking bit of peas. 2, 4, 6, 8 in a shell. English peas. Nothing better. It's funny because I hate cooked peas, but I'll eat these raw peas till I explode. And remember, this shell is good compost, very high in nitrogen. So always return it back to the garden. I'm going to start picking these now. That one may have gotten a little too big. It's a little starchier than I'd like, not as sweet as I'd like. Before I finish, because this picking's going to probably take a while, I'm just going to show you off the broccoli in the background, which has all gone to bolt. Sad to say, it did not turn out like I planned with the broccoli. I picked a couple heads though. I gave a few heads away, not much, maybe half a pound total. So I'm not sure. A lot of people recommend just doing broccoli in the fall, which might be what I'm going to do. Just do it in the fall, don't do it in the spring. So we're going to try that. Nothing from the Fibonacci broccoli. The kale got looking good. I'm going to have to pick some soon. I'm probably going to have to blanch it and freeze it because I don't know what I'm going to do with all this kale I'm going to have. And cauliflower, I have nothing yet. The peppers in the back, they need a little more time, I think. They're not happy with this dry, crazy weather. The last thing I want to show you, though, is this. These are my cucumbers. I don't know how well you're seeing them in the camera, but there's a bunch of flowers under these leaves. They're very healthy looking. They're very happy. And this plant in particular here has probably about 6 or 7 flowers underneath the leaves. So I'm hoping they get pollinated and we get a good bit of cucumbers from these. It would be very nice. Other than that, I'm just